Hypertension is a silent killer. In this video, I'm going to explain about blood pressure as well as hypertension, and then we need to think about the cholesterol. Why this is important? Because this is actually important because when a person gets a hypertension, silently it's killing that, and we need to be very concerned about our own health to be live and being healthy. So this is the video under the playlist of transport in animals, because in my previous video we studied about the structure of human heart, we studied about the blood circulation, we studied about the blood vessels, especially arteries and veins and capillaries. In this video, blood pressure is important because this is a linked study, so we need to understand these chronologically so that we can have an idea that how we can live healthy. Blood pressure and definition. So if I say simply, the blood pressure is the pressure of blood against the wall of artery. We know that when blood actually contract, then it released blood from the left ventricle through the arch of aorta to the whole body. So as the lumen of artery is narrower, then the blood pressure is felt in that artery wall. So we know that blood pressure is the pressure that is felt against the wall of artery. And in this case we need to know two words, which is systole and diastole. You know that what is heartbeat? A complete systole and diastole produce a heartbeat. So this systole means when heart contract, and this contraction is known as systole, and the relaxation is known as diastole. In this tutorial I'm just going to explain these shortly, because when I'll explain about heartbeat and the cycle of heartbeat, then we need to understand the systole of aorta, the systole of ventricle, the diastole of aorta and the diastole of ventricle, and this is sequences. On that case we will study it more deeply, but here only we need to know that systolic pressure is the pressure when heart contracts and then the blood is moving through the heart, and when heart is relaxed, then this pressure is known as diastolic pressure. So usually systolic and the diastolic pressure, what is the ideal blood pressure in adults? If I say, this is 120 to 80 millimeter of Hg. So this is the ideal blood pressure in adults, but it varies person to person. Those who are athletes, they usually have more blood pressure because they are doing a lot of hard work every day. So usually this is considered average normal blood pressure in adults, but in some cases when it's getting like 90 to 60 millimeter of Hg, then we can say this is low blood pressure. Less than 90 to 60 millimeter of Hg is considered to be a low blood pressure, and this 90, and this is the highest one, this is the lowest one in a particular person. And this is same in case of a particular person, this is the highest and this is the lowest. And this pressure is the systolic pressure and this one is the diastolic pressure. So you can say this is systolic pressure and the diastolic pressure. And in between the differences is known as the pulse pressure. So the systolic and diastolic. Simply this is considered to be an ideal blood pressure. In this case, when 90-60 will be considered as a low blood pressure. So what is high blood pressure or hypertension? The meaning hyper, it means excessive. So itself this word is expressing hypertension means excessive blood pressure when it reaches 140 to 90, even 100 millimeter of Hg or mercury. This is considered to be hypertension. But in some cases, in some humans would have this amount of blood pressure as a normal, depending on their practice and their habits. Even there are a lot of things, or a lot of factors that is depending on. So this is considered to be a hypertension based on this category. So why hypertension is important? If we say that according to WHO, we say the silent killer, hypertension is one of them. Because in our day-to-day life, we are actually adopting some bad habits in our own life, which is actually leading us to death, and we are actually not aware of it, because a healthy lifestyle requires lots of good habits. But you see, in case of hypertension, the causes at first tension. This is nowadays is one of the more prominent silent killer of human civilizations. Tension. People are having more tensed about a lot of things. So it's another, one of the more prevalent cause of hypertension. So number one is tension. So as this is, the word is actually having a tension, so itself the tension is another cause of hypertension. Number two is smoking, bad habit. Increased BMI. We can say that increased BMI means if somebody is gaining weight more and more because of sedentary lifestyle and having excessive salty foods and fatty diet, and if he has or she has a history of diabetes, they have a more probability of developing hypertension. And also if somebody has a first eclampsia, this is a medical term, eclampsia in first birth, then a mother can have another probability to develop hypertension. So you know that sphygmomanometer is the machine that we can actually measure hypertension, this sphygmomanometer. So when somebody is feeling something that is not, or she is not feeling good, what are the symptoms of hypertension? First, back, headache, vertigo, neck pain, palpitation, insomnia or sleeplessness, fatigue. These are the common and primary symptoms of hypertension. When somebody is not feeling good and feeling headache, neck pain, and is not sleeping well a lot of days, and tension is working, body weight is gaining, and if that person has a bad habit of smoking, that will definitely lead to hypertension. So we need to know that for living a healthy life, we need to adopt some good habits. So we need to avoid this. So the cause of the hypertension is the tension, smoking, the increased BMI, the intake of excessive salt and fatty food. We should avoid all these. And these symptoms, when a person is feeling these, the symptoms is growing up, then he or she should be much more careful about his or her own life, because life is valuable. So what we can do? For prevention of hypertension, we need to take ideal food, we need to take balanced diet, we need to do a physical exercise, we need to live with disciplined routine, which is very, very important. We have to avoid salty foods and fatty foods. We have to avoid smoking, especially this is very, very following characters. People are taking it as a following character, so we need to, in order to live happy life, in order to live healthy life, we need to avoid smoking, and also we need to avoid some sort of things like tensions, and we need to definitely lose weight according to maintain a good shape of body. So hypertension is important because this is our own life. And simply we need to also know that the cholesterol is another word which is linking with this. Cholesterol is one type of lipoprotein which is made up from the carbohydrate cholesterol. And there are three types of cholesterol. If I say there are three types of cholesterol, number one is HDL, number two is LDL, and number three is TG, and TG for triglyceride. So if we say cholesterol cholesterol, there are three types. Number one, LDL, which is low density lipoprotein, and this is very bad for us. Number two is HDL, this is high density lipoprotein, which is good for us. And number three is TG or triglyceride. So if you see that in case of LDL, it should be less than 1.8 millimole per liter blood. It should be less than 1.8. HDL, it should be more than 1.5 millimole per liter. Triglyceride, it should be less than 1.7 millimole per liter. Now you think why this cholesterol is important. If we take high cholesterol food like prawns, eggs, livers of animals, then some sort of like probability of increased hypertension, because you see that LDL, which is bad for our body, if we take more cholesterol food, then you know that arteries, like coronary arteries, gets like it can creates a plaque that prohibited the blood flow inside the coronary arteries, and then pain can create, and that can be known as angina. You heard about it, angina, which is pain that is increased in our body inside heart, because when coronary artery gets stuck by the cholesterol, then it prohibits blood flow inside these arteries, and that is why we must be careful about our diet. So you see that LDL, HDL and triglyceride, this is the normal level in our body. So LDL should be less than 1.8 millimole per liter. But if we take good food, good healthy food, balanced diet, then we'll have more HDL, and that is more useful and much beneficiary for us. TG or triglyceride is also important, but it should be less than 1.7 millimole per liter. So I'm giving you a very simple and primary level tutorial based on the hypertension and the cholesterol. Basically, what is required for this tutorial, because in your previous classes you explained, you studied about the human heart, blood circulations, arteries, veins, and then you are studying about hypertension, because this is about life. So when the things is about life, we must be careful. We must be careful about it, because we don't know that when hypertension is going on, it will definitely attack silently. So we must be careful about this cause. We must be careful about the symptoms. When somebody is facing that, he or she should be very much aware of it. He or she should be very much aware of his or her own diet, own lifestyle, in order to live healthy. So that is why it's important. So this is a short lecture, and I'm wrapping up it. In the next video, I'm coming up with heart attack and heart related disease, which is related with that. And if you have any problems, or if you have any recommendations, do write me in the comment sections. I shall be available to answer it properly. So take care, stay well, stay blessed. Bye.